Carm, Edmonton and Anaheim. This is definitely one that does not really have much going, at least for one team in this game here. Edmonton, big favorites, as we would expect. Anaheim on the underdog roll, plus 280, total at 7 here, with, of course, most of the goals being expected to come from Edmonton. So how do you approach this one, Carm?
Yeah, they are expected to come from them. This is a play that we'll talk about at the end of the show and during the best bet segment, but one that I will obviously discuss now. You look at, and I talked about the bottom of the standings. We talk about teams not wanting to tank or not being able to tank, but right now you've got the Anaheim Ducks, the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Columbus Blue Jackets all on 56 points right now. It's in their best interest to just lose out. It's in their best interest for the coaches of these teams to start the backups, manage minutes, do what you have to do. And I understand it's tough for players to go on the ice and tank. They don't want to do it. But for the better of the organization to try and get that number one pick, it is so big. Anaheim's doing their best to get there because they just keep losing game on game on game. If these teams finish tied at the bottom of the standings, it'll be regulation wins that serves as a tiebreaker just as much as it is for that 8th wildcard spot. And they've only got 13 regulation wins where Columbus and Chicago have 17. You look at as far as team totals, and that's where I'm leaning here because I just don't know what Anaheim is going to get as far as goals go. Edmonton, they're on a 10-0-1 run. 6 of those 10 wins, they've scored 5 or more goals, including a 6-0 win against Anaheim 4 days ago. Anaheim has lost I think they've lost 8 straight games and have allowed 5 or more goals in 4 of the last 5 games. They're not playing defense. They're not playing physical because nobody wants to get injured. Their season is done. These guys are getting ready to golf. Edmonton goes in there off a tight defensive game last night and probably blows their doors out tonight. So I don't want to lay that price, but over 4.5 team total is only minus 120. And these are numbers. And I put it when I sent it out as a client play this morning, 2% play. I said, play this early because, Andrew, these team totals start at minus 120, then go to minus 150, and then all of a sudden it's at minus 180. It's unplayable. So take it as early as you can get it. But I think the Oilers get at least 5 tonight. So that team total is the way I'm going to go here. Prez?
I like Anaheim team total over, Carm. So I think we should just take the game over 7. No. Let me warn you guys. Look, this is a terrible spot for Edmonton. I mean, should they win this game? Yeah, they're the hottest team in all of hockey right now. I mean, this team is winning. Last night was a massive victory by Edmonton on the road, 3-1 against LA. Now they're in a back-to-back situation. I'm telling you now, this line should not be plus 225 for Anaheim. It should be plus 350 for Anaheim. And if it was, I would be taking Anaheim. I think that there's no value on Anaheim. It's too low. There's no way I'm taking Edmonton in this spot because I think it's a really, really brutal spot. That game last night in LA took a lot out of them. And Anaheim's going to win a game. I don't buy these teams are tanking stuff. I mean, Chicago didn't tank last night against Calgary. These players are playing. They're playing their hearts out. Sure, the general manager is trying to tank it, but the coach isn't, and the players aren't. So I don't really buy into that. The problem is Anaheim's just so damn brutal. I mean, 22 shots on goal against Calgary, 19 shots on goal against Seattle, 18 shots on goal against Vancouver, 2 20s. I mean, there are teams that put up 20 shots in a period, and these guys can't do it in a whole game. With that said, I think we do see Edmonton's intensity drop tonight, and I think that's why we'll see Anaheim put some pucks in the net. I like over the total, team total for Anaheim. And guys, don't be taking Edmonton minus 3.5 or 2.5 goals tonight. This is a really bad spot for this team.
Yeah, Prez, I mean, you talk about how you're surprised by the number you're seeing from the Ducks today. Did you know that Calgary against Anaheim a few days ago was the biggest favorite in the
Yeah.
NHL this
Yep.
year? I mean,
Yeah, it
how?
was
What?
520
A
or something.
team that's barely in the playoffs was the biggest favorite of the year so far. I didn't take it with clients, but I tweeted out Anaheim plus 2.5.
I saw your
I got
tweet.
Anaheim. Yeah, and it was plus money at plus 2.5. I couldn't believe it. So I like that Anaheim team total as well in this one. I'm going to kind of channel my inner Andy Lang here in this one. I don't usually do these because I know that the math doesn't really line up with these, and I know that I'll hear about that from some bettors. But Carm, I look at this, and I'm just going to do two here. The over 5.5 goals and Anaheim Ducks plus 2.5 turns into a plus 140. So I'm channeling my inner Andy Lang here and doing a little bit of the alternative stuff and kind of, getting us over 5.5, and Anaheim keeps it within 2 goals, and we come out on top. And that's kind of where I'm looking here. But as far as the team total, that's kind of my play that I'll officially give out there on the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, we're getting minus 115 on this one. And, I think that you look at the price, and it's plus 280 for the Ducks, right? Some people might ask Prez and I and say, well, why aren't you guys taking that money line? What a great price that is. And I'll say the same thing I always say to people when I bet these team totals on underdogs. We can still win our bet even if they don't win the game. And that's kind of what I'm looking at here is Anaheim getting 3 goals. Once they do that, I'm not really concerned afterwards. It doesn't really matter to me after that. So I'll look towards the team total over 2.5 goals, but that same game parlay is something I might lock in.
And Andrew, listen, to Prez's point, and good luck with that same game parlay. To Prez's point, I could see the thought process on it's a bad spot for Edmonton off that game if they were playing anybody but Anaheim. Anaheim has been non-existent in their last 13 or 14 games. Their only win was against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are on 56 points and dead last as well, too. This team isn't there. And Edmonton is still playing for something. So realistically, you look at it, and they are 3 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights with both teams having 4 games left. The Knights' next game is their big game because they play against the LA Kings, who still harbor thoughts of finishing first in the Pacific, or at least second in the Pacific, and having that home ice against whoever they play in the next round. The Oilers play here and win. So if we throw hypotheticals out with 3 games left, you could be looking at the Knights on 104, Edmonton on 103, and the Kings on 102 if they go in and beat the Vegas Golden Knights. 3 games, 2 points separating 3 teams for that Pacific number 1 seed. And the number 1 seed overall, they're not taking a night off against the Anaheim Ducks tonight. I would be surprised if they did. I think even if they put in a 70% effort tonight, they get it done with ease. So those are my thoughts on that one.
So can I just jump in real quick? I know we're running out of time. Karma, I agree with every word you said, which is why I'm not playing Anaheim. However, Calgary didn't take a night off last night either. And they played at home. And they lost to a team.
Well, we're comparing that's apples and oranges.
No, Chicago is just as shitty as Anaheim.
No. I am talking about
Edmonton's better than Calgary, though.
I know.
I agree with you.
I agree with you, but the concept of a team isn't going to take a night off, I don't agree with. It just happens. Calgary came into last night's game not taking a night off, and they lost. These I don't show up and because of XYZ, or I can't bring the intensity up because of XYZ. Nobody plans it. It just happens. And that's what worries me. But I agree with everything you said, dude. I mean, Edmonton, that's why I'm not betting Anaheim. Otherwise, I'd put my money where my mouth is.
They played a few days ago, and the score was 6-0 Edmonton. That's worth noting as well.
That is also irrelevant to me.
Well, it's relevant to me.
Let's
go.